You're listening to the IMT Show with Mike Sims. Now here is your host.
Yaksamash, and welcome to Melinda makes Kolaches and Klobasniky. You will need the following items to start with: sugar, butter, evaporated milk or heavy whipping cream, 3 kegs of active dry yeast, flour. All-purpose flour or bread flour will work. I prefer bread flour. And I have a thermometer to temperature the water because you do not want the water to be more than 110 degrees, but there's also a minimum temperature, and it's on the yeast pack. If you read the back, it'll tell you. The water I used was 110 degrees. I have put the 3 yeast cakes into the bowl. Now I'm putting in 1.5 cups of sugar as the recipe calls for. I add a little bit more sugar because I like my dough a little bit sweeter. That water I'm pouring in is 110 degrees. We took its temperature with the thermometer. Now I'm going to mix this up together, and then it will start, and then we're going to let it sit to proof itself. The yeast has now been proofed, and we're at the point where we're going to add the flour. And we need to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt in with the flour into the sifter. And then we're going to sift the flour in a small amount at first, and then I'm going to take my stirring stick that my father made me before he passed away. It's made a lot of kolaches. Okay, so now we're adding in the first batch of flour. And that sifter is a Walmart sifter that was given to us after we were married. I registered for it. And it's seeing quite a bit of use. Now we're going to go ahead and stir in the flour. And here's the trick. You just keep adding in flour until it's the right consistency. And we're mixing it in a small amount at a time because we don't want too much flour. You don't want the dough sticky when you touch it. Adding in more flour. And we're going to stir it in. Stir it in. Stir it in. Okay, now is the time to get rid of the stirring stick and use my hands to mix it up real well. And you don't want the dough stiff like bread, but you don't want it too sticky. It has to be just right. If it's sticking to your fingers at all, that's too sticky. And just know, like anything else, if you end up putting too much flour in, then add some water to, adjust that. And just continue working the dough till you get all of that off the side. Make a nice round dough ball and then place it in a warm area so the dough rises. Now we're cutting our sausage for the klobasnikys, and that's Chapel Hill sausage. Normally I prefer to use Czech, pencil links, but I couldn't make it out to Sealy, and this was all I could get at the time to make these klobasnikys. You slice it up into reasonable lengths, then you're going to slice it again, and you might even do quarters, depending upon how much sausage you want in each klobasniky. Now we're preparing the fruit for the fruit kolaches. I'm using canned peach pie filling there. You can use canned peaches, they're a little bit softer. But just take them and taste them and see what you need. I added in sugar and some cinnamon. But season them to your taste, and then you need to chop them up so that they will go into the kolaches better. And of course, if you're using canned peaches or even fresh peaches, you're going to have to cook them with some cornstarch to thicken them up. Now we're putting butter into a pan to melt it. Now we're going to make as we call it, popipka. Don't ask me how to spell that. But it's basically sugar and flour, and I try to put just a little more sugar because I think a kolache should be a little bit sweeter. And then you add in your canned milk or heavy whipping cream and mix it up. And I try to mix that up evenly too. But if you add too much evaporated milk or heavy whipping cream, add in more sugar and flour. Because it needs to be the right consistency. It needs to be like little chunks. This is how you want your popipka to look. That's the right consistency right there. Now we're going to put butter onto the baking sheet. There's a lot of butter involved in this process. Now we're going to, the dough has had time to sit and rise. Now we're going to cut the dough into the correct size dough balls to make the kolaches and klobasniky. If you notice, I'm using just 2 large spoons to cut the dough out. And I tend to do a little bit at a time because you have to work the dough pretty quickly. Now, we take the dough, there's flour on the surface, and you notice how we're rolling the sides in? Then you take it and roll the dough between the palms of your hands because you want a nice dough ball. Now, to make the klobasniky, you just flatten it out. And then you take a piece of sausage, put it in, fold the dough around it, pinch the ends. And it makes a nice shape. So then we place them on the baking sheet. Put a little more flour down. And pinching the sides in. Folding it in. Same process. Rolling it between the palms of your hands. And so you get a nice dough ball again. we're going to make more klobasnikys, flattening the dough out. And you continue that till you make as many as you want or you run out of sausage. And here we are working some more dough. Rolling it in. And roll it till you get a little nice little shape. And then that goes onto the baking sheet to let it rise before you punch it down to put your fruit in for your fruit kolaches. And you just continue working all of your dough out of your pan. And you can, of course, make, double your ingredients or triple your ingredients, whatever, and make bigger batches. Now, these are my dough balls and my klobasnikys on the baking sheet. And next, we're going to put butter on top of them. And then just let them sit there a while till they rise. Okay, now they have risen, so we're punching down the dough balls to put our filling in. In this case, I just did peaches just to show you all how to make fruit kolaches. And then, if you'll notice, the others that are completed, we put the popipka on top of them. So we're just punching them down. And we're adding in enough fruit filling to just fill that little cavity. And then, of course, the popipka goes on top to seal it. And they're all done. And then you're going to put butter on top of the fruit filling and the popipka. And then we're going to bake in an oven 375 till they're golden brown. Okay, so after they're done and out of the oven, they're golden brown, you're going to put more butter on top of them. There you go. Now they're ready to eat. Enjoy. And we're going to show you what the inside of the klobasniky looks like. There you go. Yum. Thanks for watching my video. I hope it helps. If any questions, let me know.
Thank you for listening to the IMT Show with Mike Sims. The views expressed by guests are their own and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The IMT Show is an opinion show and not to be taken as serious personal, legal, tax or financial advice. It is meant as entertainment only. IMT Show, Mazarov for Mike Sims is not responsible for ad content. For more information on show schedules and content visit www.mazarov.net/IMT.